And I put up I thought funny, I'm not just going to call myself funny, tweet during the game where I said, do we think that Jordan Mason is going to get a single carry, especially after that press conference? And then I said, no, out of spite, no, because he wouldn't have anyways, or yes, he will. He did not, but Elijah Mitchell did, and Elijah Mitchell looked fantastic. I think you and I, or at least I've said it on other things, I think he's kind of a rhythm back. And so when he's been put in for like one single play, it's kind of looked kind of clunky. It was averaging like 2 yards a carry a couple of the games he was in, but only getting like 4 carries over the course of the entire game just for like one play, where this time he got an entire series. He looked really, really good. How do you feel about the running back situation behind Christian McCaffrey? Are you glad that Christian McCaffrey sat for a series, especially considering it's a short week? Do you hope that coming up in this game that some Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason is utilized more? How do you compare the two? Did you kind of always know this? How do you feel about the running back situation in San Francisco?
I'm not as like angry about Jordan Mason not getting carries as everyone else seems to be. Like, yeah, it's strange, right? Like, yeah, like it's enough to question Kyle Shanahan. I think it was a fair question for Grant to ask. Maybe the way that he asked it clearly didn't rub Kyle Shanahan the right way, but it's a fair question, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, like it didn't really bother me. I always figured that, maybe Jordan Mason was just doing something without the ball in his hands that Kyle Shanahan maybe didn't think was, to the level of Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey. One example, which is a big one for running backs, pass protection.
Yeah.
That's
We
a
talked about
huge
that.
thing. So maybe Jordan Mason's not as good in that area. Maybe there's other things that, we're not privy to that Kyle Shanahan has seen that, clearly has him beneath Elijah Mitchell in the depth chart. And, the 49ers have always shown a lot of belief in Elijah Mitchell, even through the injuries that he's had, right? And to your point, he is a rhythm rusher, and not just like from one carry to the next in one game, but I almost feel like even after the injuries, it takes him a while like to kind of get going again. And I think like, we saw that, but the 49ers stuck with him. And he looks like his old self again. At least he did on Sunday. He only had 4 carries, right? But I think all of those came in one
Yeah, back to back.
in one series.
Yeah.
And so he had 24 yards. That was an average of 6 yards per carry. So pretty
Really
efficient day
good.
for him, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't have any complaints, especially if Elijah Mitchell is going to play like that, right? Especially if he is going to be the better in pass protection. Whatever Kyle thinks is best for the team, I'm gonna go with Kyle. The thing is, like, sometimes he puts guys in like the doghouse or whatever, or what we call the doghouse, if they're doing
I
some
wonder
of
if
these
like
things
he
wrong.
reversed with that. He's like, actually, you should go to my doghouse, just in the community.
I think he
I know that
hates
he
I
doesn't.
think he hates
I
that
know.
it's been like coined that at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a real thing and it's tough to get out of, right? You got to be on your P's and Q's and, pretty much be perfect for him to be like, okay, I trust you again. But, at the same time, it's just the nature of having one Christian McCaffrey as your top running back and then
Yeah.
someone who has been here and knows all the plays and knows all the, protection assignments, all of that in Elijah Mitchell. So, he's the third best running back on the team for that reason.
I completely agree. I found the thing kind of funny, but I thought that Elijah Mitchell did really good, and I was proud of him because I will say I think I've been maybe on the Jordan Mason campaign, but it was just because I didn't feel like Elijah Mitchell in his limited opportunities was getting the production that I had hoped he would get. And it wasn't that I thought it was impossible for him to get it, but I just was like, oh, if he's not going to be getting like a full slate to be able to kind of get in that rhythm that we know he needs, then maybe going to someone like Mason, who has shown that he can kind of get a bunch of carries in more limited opportunities, would be good. But I'm really proud that Mitchell kind of came out, and I'm sure he's heard that noise too. And he's probably like, hey, like, this is my
Right.
job. I've earned this. I've been great for this team.
Right.
So I was really happy for all of them, and I'm going to be really happy for Mason when he does get his opportunities. I think the 49ers are an excellent situation where we're saying, hey, they have one, superstar and then two really great backups right behind him.
Yeah.
And now we're arguing, do we want the guy who can average a consistent, 5-something yards over the course of a season, or the one that just averaged 6? And fans are, butting heads about that. There's been worse,
It's
there's
silly.
been bigger problems for football teams.
Right, exactly.
I'm interested in going against Seattle if they will try to kind of start working in the number 2 quarterbacks. Sam Darnold just goes out there and just dies
God, I
as
hope not.
yeah. But I'm interested because it's a short week if they'll try to give Christian McCaffrey some rest, or if they were only doing that in this game to kind of prepare him for Thursday's game, because then it's kind of a longer week before the next Sunday. Because obviously you do need him in this upcoming stretch